What's up, Bizzy Nation, and welcome to another video on starting a business in New Zealand. In this video, we'll be detailing the different business structures in New Zealand and which one would benefit you the most, saving you time, money, and hassle. Hi, my name is Drew and I'm the founder of getbizzy.co.nz, an online portal for New Zealand businesses to network and grow together. My goal with these videos is to make starting a business as painless as possible in New Zealand and then hopefully help you grow in the future. So let's jump into it then. Well, there's three main business structures in New Zealand, the first one being sole traders. The best way to explain sole traders is a one-man business. So if you imagine any of those contractors that work for themselves, freelancers that are a one-man team, graphics designers, you name it. If you know someone that's in business by themselves, it's pretty safe to assume that they are registered as a sole trader. Now, there's certain benefits to being a sole trader, one of which is you don't have to register for a new IRD number. You can use your personal one. This makes the startup process very easy and very inexpensive in the long run. There's also the benefit of you being your own boss. If you're the only one in the business, then you control 100% of the business and 100% of the profits, which can be a great feeling. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes down to it. Running a sole trader business, there are some pitfalls, one of which is if you do start to do well, you will find yourself in the highest tax bracket, being 33% in New Zealand, versus a company's highest tax bracket of 30%. So there's a bit of difference there. However, you can offset against your expenses to get ahead a little bit. Also, you may find it's harder to scale your sole trader business versus your company, and this just boils down to credibility in the market, being able to approach investors and banks to get money so you can actually grow your business. This makes it harder to sell your business because in essence, you are the business. It's not a separate entity like with companies. So finding someone willing to purchase that is a lot more difficult than an up and running company that, you know, is a separate entity and can very easily get rid of one or two people and still go chugging along. If you, the sole trader, leave that business, then it's going to be quite likely that that business is going to either diminish or completely die in the long run. Now, I'm not trying to deter you from starting a business as a sole trader. In fact, sole trader is the #1 business structure in New Zealand. So on most occasions, the pros must outweigh the cons. And with a nation full of people who want to be their own boss and go into business for themselves, it's really no surprise that most of them decide to go with sole trader initially. Secondly, I'll move on to my preferred choice, which is limited liability companies. Now, I'll go into the details as to why I prefer this shortly. However, there's some things you need to know first. With sole traders, you are fully liable for your business expenses and debts. With limited liability companies, as the name states, you are only liable for portions of those business debts and expenses up to the portion of the company that you own. This can be easily measured by the shares that you own in that business. With a company, unlike with a sole trader, you actually have to apply for a separate IRD number. This makes the application process a little bit more lengthy, and it also costs a little bit more, I think running about $250 to fully set up your company. When choosing a company as your business structure, you need to be aware that on application, you'll need to provide details of all shareholders and directors of that company. This includes personal income for income tax levels, debts, and what their role will be in the company. As I said earlier, there are certain tax benefits to running a company. You will be sitting on 28% as your tax rate versus 33% as a sole trader at the highest level. And if you are doing well, then this is actually quite a big difference, so it should be taken into consideration. Growing your company can be done a lot easier than a sole trader. Bringing people on board is a lot simpler, and approaching banks and investors, you are far more likely to get the result you are after. Then when it comes to selling your business down the track, it'll be done a lot easier as your business is a separate entity. Finally, the third popular business structure in New Zealand is partnerships. Now, partnerships are relevant to firms such as lawyers, accountants, real estate, and people in those particular industries where it's a professional industry. You'll quite often see both of their names in the actual title of the business. And it's done for specific reasons like this because two people bring separate skills to the business, and for lawyers and accountants that can be very invaluable when starting up to have someone with a massive amount of knowledge and skill in one particular area that you lack bringing that to the table and making a real, whole package that you're able to then go out into the business world and deliver. Another positive to that is that you do have the shared liability, so you're only liable for the portion of the business that you own, and in most cases it's a 50-50 split down the middle for partnerships unless one party is bringing a lot more to the table. Now, you can have more than 2 people start that business initially. However, I feel like the more people you have in on that business, the more opportunity you have for disagreements and the business relationship to sour, which would eventually lead to an ugly end. So personally, I would try to keep it to 2 people if I was looking at starting a partnership. However, my humble opinion is that company or limited liability company is the way to go. So those are the top 3 structures in New Zealand. There are 2 other structures I'm aware of, a look-through company and trading trust. However, it is definitely recommended that you go to a lawyer and an accountant before making the decision to start a business as one of those structures, as they are for very specialized cases. Your main 3 I've covered off. Even before starting a business, I highly recommend talking to people either already in business or people in professional fields surrounding business and getting their advice. If you have any questions or you just want to call me out about something that I got wrong, then feel free to comment below. Also, hit that subscribe button so you keep up to date with all the latest content I provide. And if you'd like to, please give me a thumbs up. It'd be massively appreciated, and it just goes a long way to getting this content in front of more people. As always, remember guys, it's your life, live it on your terms, and do what you love.